Hello and welcome back to the village. I am so glad you are here today. Today, we are going to talk about a mystery that is hidden right in front of your eyes. Every morning, you stand in front of a mirror. You look at your face. You check your hair. You see the lines on your skin. You think, this is me. But what if I told you that you have been looking at a mask your entire life? What if the you that can be seen in a mirror is actually the smallest part of who you are? Most people live in fear because they think they are only a body. They see the body changing and getting older, and they get scared. But today, we are going to look beyond the mirror. We are going to find the life that never dies. We are going to learn how to drop the small self and realize our oneness with everything that exists. This isn't just a talk, it is a session of deep mind cleaning. Let's wipe away the dust of who you think you are, so you can see who you really are. When you look in a mirror, you see a physical form. This form has a name, a nationality, a job, and a history. We call this the small self. From the time we are children, the world tells us that this reflection is our identity. We are told we are smart or slow, beautiful or plain. We spend all our energy trying to make this reflection look good to other people. We want the reflection to be successful, to be liked, and to stay young forever. But here is the truth that many people miss. The reflection is just a shadow. Think about a movie playing on a screen. You might see a fire on the screen, but the screen doesn't get burned. You might see a storm, but the screen doesn't get wet. The screen is the reality. The movie is just a temporary show. Your body and your personality are the movie, but your spirit, the life inside you, is the screen. Most of our stress comes from the fact that we have forgotten we are the screen. We think we are the fire, and we think we are the storm. This is why mind cleaning is so important. We must clean away the idea that we are only what can be seen. The small self is always chasing things because it feels incomplete. It thinks it needs more money, more praise, or more things to be whole. But the life that never dies is already whole. It doesn't need anything from the outside. When you look beyond the mirror, you stop being a slave to your reflection. You realize that the you who is watching the reflection is not the one in the reflection. The one who is watching is silent, peaceful, and eternal. This watcher doesn't age. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't have a name. It is simply the light of the source shining through you. When you start to live as the watcher instead of the reflection, your whole life changes. You no longer feel like a tiny person in a big, scary world. You start to feel like the life that is behind the entire world. This is the beginning of true freedom. If you want to see the truth, you have to clean the lens of your mind. Right now, your mind is like a mirror that is covered in thick dust. This dust is made of your memories, your labels, and your worries. When you look at yourself, you don't see the light, you only see the dust. You say, I am a failure because of what happened 10 years ago, or I am an anxious person. These are just labels. They are just dust. Mind cleaning is the process of realizing that you are not your thoughts and you are not your past. Imagine you are holding a cup. If the cup is full of dirty water, you cannot put fresh, clean water into it. You must empty the cup first. Most of us are carrying minds full of dirty water, old ideas about who we are. To find the life that never dies, you must be willing to be empty. You must be willing to let go of the small self. In the state of oneness, there are no labels. A tree does not think, I am a successful tree. A river does not think, I am a famous river. They simply are. They are in a constant flow with the source. When you clean your mind of labels, you enter that same flow. You realize that you don't need to be somebody. Being somebody is exhausting. It takes so much work to maintain an identity. But being life is easy. Life just breathes. Life just exists. When you sit in silence and watch your thoughts pass by like clouds, you are doing the work of cleaning. You see a thought of anger, and you say, that is a thought, but it is not me. As the dust falls away, the mirror of your soul becomes clear. You start to see a beauty that has nothing to do with your physical face. You see a glow that comes from the source of all things. This is the part of you that cannot be touched by the world. It is the part of you that is connected to the stars and the wind. By cleaning the mind, you stop living in a small room of your own thoughts and you step out into the vastness of the great life. Once the mind is clean, you begin to hear the secret language of existence. This language is not made of words. It is made of feelings and vibrations. It is the language of oneness. Most people feel lonely because they think they are separate from everything else. They think there is a me inside the skin and a world outside of it. But this separation is an illusion created by the small self. In reality, there is no place where you end and the universe begins. Think about the air you are breathing right now. It was just inside a tree, and before that, it was inside another person. The air is moving through everyone. It connects us all. The water you drink was once in the ocean and once in the clouds. We are all part of one giant, living system. When you find the life that never dies, you realize that you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. This realization is the cure for loneliness. How can you be lonely when you realize that the life in the birds singing outside is the same life that is moving your heart? How can you be afraid when you realize that you are part of an eternal flow that never stops? The small self wants to build walls to stay safe. It builds walls of money, walls of opinions, and walls of fear. But oneness knocks those walls down. It shows us that we are all expressions of the same one life. When you move through the world with this understanding, you start to treat everything with deep respect. You don't see strangers. You see different versions of yourself. You see the source playing different roles. This is the great truth. There's only one of us here. We are like the fingers on a hand. We look separate, but we are all moved by the same arm. When you live in this oneness, you are no longer fighting against life. You are dancing with it. You find a peace that is so deep it cannot be described with words. You have found the life that survives the mirror. So, how do we live this truth every day? It is one thing to understand oneness while watching a video, but it is another thing to live it when life gets difficult. Living as the life that never dies means you stop reacting from the small self. When someone is mean to you, the small self wants to fight back or hide. But the great life, the real you, simply observes with compassion. You realize that the person being mean is just someone whose mirror is very dirty. They are lost in their own dust. Instead of getting angry, you stay in your peace. Living this way requires constant mind cleaning. It means that every time you feel stress, you stop and ask, who is feeling this? You will realize it is only the small self that is stressed. The eternal part of you is as calm as the bottom of the ocean, even when there are waves on the surface. You start to make choices based on love instead of fear. You start to give instead of always trying to get. You realize that because everything is one, when you give to another, you are actually giving to yourself. The life that never dies is not something you find after you die. It is something you find now. It is the presence that is listening to these words. It is the stillness in the room. It is the amness that stays the same whether you are happy or sad, rich or poor. When you find this, you have found the greatest treasure in existence. You can look at the mirror and laugh because you know the reflection is just a costume. You are the infinite spirit that is wearing the costume. As you go about your week, try to stay in this awareness. When you walk in nature, feel the life in the ground under your feet. When you talk to someone, look past their words and see the light in their eyes. Remember that you are a part of a beautiful, eternal story that has no end. You are not a temporary accident. You are a deliberate expression of the great life. The mirror will eventually break, and the body will eventually fade, but the life that you are is forever. You are home. You are safe. You are one. We have traveled deep today, from the reflection in the glass to the eternal ocean of oneness. I hope this session of mind cleaning has helped you feel a little lighter and a little more peaceful. Remember, the world will always try to pull you back into the small self. It will try to make you worry about your reflection and your labels. When that happens, just take a deep breath and come back to the watcher. Look beyond the mirror. Find the life that never dies. It is waiting for you in the silence. It is the peace you have been searching for your whole life, and it has been inside you all along. Thank you for being part of the village today. Together, we are waking up to the truth of who we are. Please subscribe, share, and comment below. Tell me, what did you see when you looked beyond the mirror today? Stay in the light. Stay in the peace. I will see you in the next video.